Hey guys, my name is Christian Taylor. Welcome back to CraylerMade, and today I'm so excited to be creating a dropshipping store for as little money as possible. Now this is something I've always wanted to try. Creating a dropshipping store can be really rewarding because you can make money online without having to purchase inventory. You don't have to house inventory. You don't even have to ship inventory. You have a dropshipping partner who handles all of that for you. You basically just set up your online store and market the products, and every time someone places an order, you make money from it. I think that's pretty cool, so today I'm gonna be creating a dropshipping store and taking you through the process. Before we jump in, I just wanted to say that this video is sponsored by BeProfit. BeProfit is the best app to track profits and analytics for Shopify, WooCommerce, and other top e-commerce platforms. I'll have a link for BeProfit in the description below. With that said, let's jump right in and start creating our store. So the first step to creating a store, before we even choose a platform or choose a dropshipping partner, before we get into any of that, we need to do some market research and decide what we're going to be selling. This is a critical part of creating a dropshipping store, because if you don't know what you're selling and you sort of just go, that looks good, I guess, you're probably going to be disappointed with the results. So I've got some articles up here. I just Googled, what to sell for a dropshipping store. Shopify's got a pretty good article here with some suggestions. I've also got some YouTube videos here and other tabs that I pulled up. I'm just gonna watch some of the videos, read some of the articles, and I'll let you know what I find out. So after watching some videos and reading some articles, I learned a couple things about what products you should select. Number one, I learned that dropshipping is more about finding products that are going to perform for a specific amount of time. So it seems like everything fluctuates with trends. For example, they talked about Google Trends a lot. I've got Google Trends up right here, and I just searched plates. The demand for plates looks pretty constant. Looks like it's declining a little bit past 12 months. I'm gonna go to past 5 years to get a better idea. And we can see the demand for plates is pretty constant. Now, if I search candles, you can see right here, the demand for candles surges like crazy every Christmas season. I'm not exactly sure why. I guess consumers are more interested in candles when Christmas rolls around, but this would not be a product you would really want to sell during the summer. So could you sell candles during the Christmas season and another product during the summer? Maybe that's a possibility. So there's a lot of interesting data that we can find on Google Trends. There's a lot of advanced strategies, and you can do your own research, watch some videos, read some articles, because I'm certainly no expert here, but I definitely did not think about that angle before I did some market research. So definitely be sure you look into that. I'm thinking I might do a store in the realm of like home goods, so candles, plates, towels, that sort of stuff. I just think that that could do well overall. But again, I'm no expert. This is an experiment. I'm just having fun here, but I think I might explore that. Now that I know what I want to sell, it's time to pick a platform. This is where the fun comes in. There's a lot of platforms out there. There's Wix, Squarespace, Shopify, WooCommerce. There's so many options. There's so many possibilities. I've got some tabs up for different platforms, and obviously Wix is a solid platform. I've used Wix eCommerce before. It's not great for dropshipping. It's definitely better for just a mom and pop shop that's got some coffee that they make and they want to sell it online, or something like that. Right here, actually, coffee subscription store. So Wix is not really a great fit for what I'm looking to do. Kind of the same story with Squarespace. Yeah, Squarespace does let you drop ship with certain partners, but it just really is not going to give me the flexibility that I'm looking for. Now, WooCommerce could definitely do drop shipping. WooCommerce is absolutely capable of this. It's got a lot of APIs, it's very powerful, but the times I've used WooCommerce, it's honestly a headache. It's just not something that I really want to deal with for this experiment. So you know what that leaves? Shopify. Yes, Shopify, the best e-commerce platform in my opinion, also the most expensive, but if you've got a little bit of a budget to work with, Shopify starts at $29 a month. I'll go over to the pricing here, and that's going to be all we need is just their $29 a month plan. That's all I'm going to use. So I think that Shopify is going to work well for us. But now that we have the platform picked out, we have to decide where are we going to source our products from. There's a lot of options for that. I'm going to start signing up for my Shopify store, and we'll see once we do that. There's so many different partners we could pick from. The next step in the process is to choose a dropshipping service for your e-commerce platform of choice. Here I am on the Shopify apps page, and as you can see, there are a lot of options to pick from. So as I've evaluated which dropshipping partner I want to use, I've sort of gone through some of these services and compared the pros and cons of each option. De-essers is probably going to be great if you want to do dropshipping from AliExpress. I decided that for now I don't want to do this, mainly because I'd kind of like my product to be shipped from the US, as I anticipate most of my customers will be in the US. AliExpress is great, many dropshippers do this. Again, I'm no expert here, but I just don't love the idea of packages taking potentially weeks to arrive being ordered direct from AliExpress. So de-essers is going to be out for me. Now CG Dropshipping is an interesting one because they don't source from AliExpress, but they source from two Chinese sites, 1688 and Taobao. So it's a similar idea to AliExpress, except CG Dropshipping does have a US warehouse where if you want to purchase inventory, you can have it housed in their US warehouse for free. They'll fulfill it from their US warehouse for free, but you have to purchase inventory with a minimum of 10 items. So you might have to spend, I don't know, $1,000 on inventory to buy it and store it in their warehouse. That's not something that I want to do, especially not for my first dropshipping store ever. So I looked at Oberlo. Oberlo is the official Shopify app for dropshipping. Oberlo is owned by Shopify. It's basically an AliExpress API, so similar to de-essers. That was sort of not something that I wanted to do personally. Now, DropCommerce is really interesting. DropCommerce sources products from US and Canadian companies, so all of the products ship from the US and Canada. And DropCommerce, I think, has a different strategy for dropshipping because instead of acting private label, instead of saying like, oh, I'm going to sell products that I'm going to pretend they're my brand and they're sort of unbranded, like Christian store, buy Christian's candles, you get Christian's candles and they're just sort of unmarked. DropCommerce is unashamedly selling brands that people know. So we can see here, real brands, quality products. So these are brands that people may recognize. So it's sort of taking the approach of, hey, I'm a home goods store. I sell home good brands that you know in my store. Sort of like being a Home Depot or TJ Maxx, or you're sort of playing the game of being like an actual retailer online. You get to sell products that people know. It's probably lower profit margin, that would be my guess. DropCommerce also has a monthly fee you have to pay to access it. We can see here the basic plan is $19 a month. So when you add that to the Shopify plan, our cost is $50 a month just to be in business. So this is not the cheapest route. This is just the route that I wanted to take for my experiment. But yeah, I'm just gonna get started and select some products. Well, the product selection is coming along pretty well. I've got a whole bunch of products picked out that you definitely cannot really see on my screen. I'll have some B-roll here, but I'm just messing around with Shopify, getting my store all set up. trying to make the website itself look good. There's a lot of options within Shopify, but I think I'm going to work on a logo, some branding for my store, and see if we can get this all polished up. And just like that, I have our branding in place on the store. I think it looks really good. We got the Kraler Goods logo. This store is honestly looking quite impressive considering I've only spent a few minutes getting it ready. So I can go through some of these featured products. I'll click this breakfast bowl set. This looks pretty nice. I can click through different colors. I can add this to my cart. I can say view cart, checkout, and obviously it's telling me checkout isn't available because we haven't actually launched our store yet. But before we launch our store, we need to talk about profit because understanding your profit and loss and analytics is so important for any business, but especially with retail and e-commerce and dropshipping. You need to understand your profit, and that's where the sponsor of today's video, BeProfit, is going to help us out. Let's go take a look. The need to know your numbers at all times is an essential part of achieving e-commerce success. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. It's as simple as that. You need to understand the effectiveness of each of your ads, know your most and least profitable items, and have access to accurate reporting on all of your numbers. The problem is there's not really a great way to do this that's built into any e-commerce platform, and that's where BeProfit can help. BeProfit is the most accurate profit calculator app for e-commerce sellers. Available on Shopify, WooCommerce, Wix, and other top e-commerce platforms, the app helps merchants stay on track with their profits and expenses all in one intuitive dashboard. Look, I'll show you how it works. So here I am in the BeProfit dashboard. It was a breeze to set up. The questionnaire that you answer in order to get BeProfit going on your store is very simple. It asks for what shipping service you're using, what drop shipping service you're using, and all of that data helps BeProfit to analyze your business and tell you where you're at. So as we can see with this being brand new, I don't really have any data in here. The store is not launched yet. I've got some revenue that I manually inputted. I've got some expenses that I manually inputted, but other than that, there's not much here yet. If I go over to products, we can see that BeProfit has pulled in all the products, including cost of goods sold, which is really useful data to have. But in order to better demonstrate what BeProfit can do, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to a different store that has more data for us to look at. Okay, so this store has a lot more data for us to look at. Right off the bat, we can see our gross profit. Gross margin is 49.2%, which is looking really good. I can scroll down and see total sales, cost of goods sold, ad spend. We can even see our return on ad spend right here. It's 6.8. All sorts of powerful data, shipping and handling costs, lots of graphs and visuals to help us understand stuff. I can go over to the orders page. It's going to pull in all of our orders, refund data. Again, all of that rich info. I can drill down into a specific order. Now, here's what really blows my mind about BeProfit. If I go to marketing, I can see an advanced report. It pulls in data from Facebook, Google, all sorts of different ad platforms. You set it up once and you don't have to set it up again. It just pulls in all this data and even tells us through UTM tracking that, look, this Facebook campaign, we spent $650 on it. It brought us $17.95 in revenue. So that's a good campaign right there. Now, obviously this Google campaign, it brought us good revenue, but if we look at our return on ad spend, this is actually lower. So we saw a little bit better success from this Facebook ad, but we can actually drill down into Facebook, see specific campaigns. We have account, I can go to campaigns, I can drill down into a specific campaign that we ran, into an ad set. I can go down to the individual ad and see right here what we spent on every ad. This is mind-blowingly powerful. I can go to cohort analysis. This is a chart or a data set that a lot of e-commerce experts use to analyze how well their store is doing. We also have a P&L. Everything is already broken down for you by category. Always good to know your P&L info. And my favorite feature about BeProfit is the ability to run custom reports. If I go to my reports, I can actually create a custom report, and I can select a category, marketing, grouping data by month, select my columns. Maybe I want to see a report on cost of goods sold and ad spend. I don't know. We can really create this based on anything. Maybe I want to see this for this month and I want to have it sent to me weekly. So right here, I just put in an email address, and then this custom report that I created is going to be emailed to me weekly on Tuesday at 12 p.m. So I don't even have to stress about looking at my analytics because BeProfit is taking care of all of this for me. They're going to send me these reports when it's time, and then I'm just getting shown this information and I'm being informed as a business owner. BeProfit has excellent customer support. Just check their over 200 excellent reviews on the Shopify App Store with a 4.9 star average. BeProfit is the best way to analyze profits for your business. Go check out the link in the description below to get it set up for your e-commerce store today. Thanks to BeProfit for sponsoring this video, and now let's talk about the next steps of launching your e-commerce store. So the next step in this process is to launch your store. And one of the questions I had about dropshipping is what happens when there's returns? You know, we're having a dropshipping partner ship an item directly to the customer. What if the customer says, I don't like this, or it's broken? Can I send it back? Who do they send it to? Do they send it to you? Do they send it to the dropshipping partner? Is the dropshipping partner going to eat the cost? Do you eat the cost? I did some research on this, and the answer is it depends. Each supplier has a different policy. With DropCommerce, they tell you that each individual brand you sell has a different policy. Some brands are going to let the consumer ship the product back to their warehouse and they'll just refund you for your costs, so that way you effectively didn't lose any money. If you use AliExpress, they say they don't take returns unless the item is defective. So with AliExpress, if your customer says, oh, I just didn't like the item, it's probably better off to just refund them and not ask them to send it to you and just eat the cost. But you're not going to be getting your funds back from AliExpress if a customer doesn't like the item. Now, if the item is defective, you can actually submit a claim to AliExpress, and that's when it's important to get images from the customer. If a customer emails you, requests a return, and says the product is defective or broken, ask for images so that way you can take those images, go to your supplier and say, look, the customer reported the item is broken, here's pictures, and hopefully you can get refunded so you don't lose all of that cost. Now, there's a lot of aspects of running a dropshipping store that we didn't cover as well. Things like social media ads, remarketing, SEO, customer service, fraud prevention. These are all important things that you'll need to research for your dropshipping store that I'm not going to get into in today's video. If you just click launch on your store right now and just send it out to the world, chances are you're not going to get any sales. You might get one or two, and if you send it to friends and family, you're probably going to get a couple sales. But if you really want to make this a business, you have to be tactful with social media ads, marketing, customer service, and all of the things I mentioned. So this is not an exhaustive tutorial by any means. If you'd like to see more dropshipping content and see me go more in depth on more of these topics, definitely be sure to leave a comment down below. And if you like this video, do be sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss when I release new videos. Huge thanks to BeProfit for sponsoring the video. Be sure to check them out at the link in the description below. And with that said, I will catch you guys next time.